All right. So let's start our webinar. This is open sessions that we have planned for having any kind of questions, answers that you have. You are facing any difficulties on your day-to-day activities, you can ask me. I may able to help you out, or if needs time, if I don't have the answers readily available, I'll answer that. Lately, we are also on YouTube Live, so people may ask questions will be coming up. So I will quickly copy this link and okay. All right. So anyone, if you wants to ask any questions, you can ask it now.
Hi, this is Niradi. This is here.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing this invite to join in this forum. Recently, I joined one company. I can't name here actually, but I joined as a chief scrum master, which was new to me, like I was telling you in the noon. So how to start up means as this role was new. If I'm a normal scrum master, I know how to carry out from end to end, right from the seeing the previous retros and seeing the backlog items. I could able to correlate and I know how to take it up. But since this program involves a lot of stakeholders who are very near to the top management, means almost kind of leadership role. So
Okay.
I don't know from where to start and as this role was new. If I'm a normal scrum master, I know how to carry out from end to end. I was getting echo seeing the previous retros and seeing the backlog items. I could able to correlate and I know how to take it up. But this program involves a lot of stakeholders who are very near to the top management. Means almost kind of leadership role.
Okay. And what's your primary role over there?
From where to start and I'm getting echo. I was getting echo. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I joined in April. I joined on April 28th, actually.
Okay. 20th April, and you joined as a Scrum Master?
Chief Scrum Master.
Chief Scrum Master. Okay. Yeah. So what exactly how it is different than normal Scrum Master? Because Chief Scrum Master is not very defined responsibilities we have. So how we would think Chief Scrum Master is different than a Scrum Master? What are the additional roles that you have? Actually,
as a Chief Scrum Master, few other Scrum Masters who are joined very means they were working almost 1 year there. Means I am junior to them and they were senior to me for that program experience. Okay. For the company experience. So they may have to report to me, even though not as per hierarchy functionally, they have to report to me. And I will be the voice of them to the leadership actually.
Yeah, but what's your question is? I didn't got the question.
My question is like, what kind of changes I may have to bring as a chief scrum master, and what kind of activities?
If you want to talk about why do you want to bring up changes, first you need to observe that what the team or the organizations, how they are working on. Are they working on a right way? If they are working everything on the right way, you may not need to bring up any changes. But first try to observe, or you may need to do a first level of maturity assessment for the team that these are the certain criteria, and you have a standard. You says, okay, where the teams are falling based on each standard, you give a rating 1 to 5. You take a survey from the team. For example, the daily stand-up is taking 15 minutes. I'm talking about a very simple example. Product owner is available for the team, or the stories are meeting the invest criteria, the stories having acceptance criteria. In that way, you can have hundreds of different criteria. You find out, categorize them. This is related to product owner. This is related to quality. This is related to feedback. This is related to the communication. This is related to the teamwork, and all those areas. Do a maturity assessment. Find out where the score is low, and find out, okay, this score is low. Make a brainstorming exercise and find out, okay, what you can do to bring up the score high. That's way you will be able to do. So first thing, you try to create a list of activities that you will be observing, that you will be assessing the team, and discuss with the management, discuss with your stakeholders if they are you are closely working with them, and find out if they are agreed with that. This is what your goal is. Otherwise, you may face that, okay, what you are targeting, what their expectation is, there is a mismatch. So try to have a hand-on-hand discussions from the very beginning and apply it.
Actually,
Are you able
what
to
I
understand
heard,
what I'm...
I missed a few 1 to 2 points over here, Niladri. First thing, what I heard when I had the discussion with one of the senior folk in the team, what I heard like the changes, the design team is there actually. Okay, design team is coming on to the development team even during the mid of the sprint sometimes. Sometimes the scrum masters they were unable to answer back to the product management team despite they were overloaded or properly
Scrum
loaded as
Master, I didn't get that. Scrum Master is unable to answer to the project management team.
product management team. Means if any requirement is coming the last moment, they were unable to say no to the product management despite some kind of pressure is there on the development team.
Yeah, so but do you have a product owner or you are working with product management?
We have product owners and the product management guys as well.
Yeah, but the team is directly working with the product owner or they're working with the product manager?
The hierarchy is like hand to hand. BS also.
No, I'm not
BS,
talking about a hierarchy. Do you have a Scrum team?
yeah, we have Scrum team actually.
Does
We
the
have
Scrum
POs.
team have the dedicated product owner?
Yes, they have.
Okay, then where the product manager is involved with the team will be addressing what the product owner is talking about, what the product owner priority is.
Okay.
Right. So the product owner may be well organized or aligned with the product management. If you think about the product owner, I'm not sure you're following any particular framework or not. If you have the concept of product manager will be more stakeholder or business aligned. Product owner will be more team aligned, and there will be coordination between product manager and product owners.
Yeah.
So the team, they will be following the priority of the product owner. They will be following how the product owner have discussed with them what they wanted to deliver, what their capacity of the each team is. And as a chief scrum master, you will be ensuring all the scrum master are following the same thing. All the scrum master are imposing the same patterns of work. If there are multiple, if you are working as a chief scrum master, I'm assuming that this is a similar kind of role where in Scale Agile we call is an RTE. And you will be having, are you following SAFe or you are not in SAFe?
Yeah, actually there was a dilemma whether the team has to follow SOS or SAFe.
Okay. Yeah, see, whatever SOS will be having their own way or SAFe will be having its own way. Whatever the ways you follow their recommended way. If you're going for SAFe, you may need to have all the teams work together. They will be going for a similar PI planning. Whatever is planned, that will be going through frequent feedbacks between multiple iterations. It will be having a demonstrations at the end of every iteration end. It will be having an final PI demonstration. And there will be lots of synchronization is suggested. So there will be no problem. As a chief scrum master, you first need to find out that what exactly the framework you are following. Even if you're not following any framework, but define a standard, define a working agreement, and that working agreement should be agreed by everyone.
Yeah. Okay. No, even the proper hierarchy was not explained in detail. Going forward, they may intimate to me. But since I have joined, I was thinking in such a way that what kind of usual responsibilities might come onto the chief scrum master's head, and secondarily, what kind of best ways of working we can recommend to the team. That was my ask actually.
See, the best way, if you understand Scrum, you can ask them, okay, if you understand Scrum, the team wants to go for a Scrum. I don't know what the nature of that work the team is doing. Scrum will be applicable or Kanban will be applicable. You are the best person to observe and recommend, okay, the team will be going through Scrum and these are the Scrum best practices. Now, the Scrum best practices is not one or two practices. There are a huge list of Scrum best practices. You understand Scrum, you follow them, you go for that. I'm talking about the assessment. You list down all those assessment and first check how much of those points the teams are not following and try to recommend. So first, there are 4 steps you can go for. Observe, then create a problem of their wrong practices or anti-patterns, because you need to talk with your management. You need to mention, okay, these are my observations, these are the problem because of these wrong practices, these are my recommendations, and these are the benefit of the recommendations, and this is my implementation plan of my recommendations.
Okay.
Right?
Got you.
All right, great. Anyone have any other questions? I see there is one question coming from YouTube. I was once asked in an interview how to manage stakeholders in a complex organization. Can you help share lights on that? How to manage stakeholders in a complex organization, but I'm not sure who is managing. You as a Scrum Master managing, or there is another project manager who is managing. If you can just give little more details on that. Okay, Anuradha, you have some question.
Hi, Niladri.
Hey.
I have one question. The practices which you have taught, I've been trying to introduce this in the organization.
Okay.
But one thing which my organization is not able to tweak here, okay, the basic principles of running a sprint and a Kanban, there's a slight difference between both of them. And the more and more I'm involved in the organization environment, I feel the effectiveness of sprint planning or sprint ceremonies, what we do, is not so beneficial to the organization. And I did recommend that going for Kanban will be a more efficient way. Right now, the team is all getting sucked up in attending the meetings and the ceremonies, and a lot of planning is getting done. But ideally, it's a run work, and in the run work, anything can happen and we need to fix it. So all what we plan is just dropped, like, the ball is totally dropped down and we are doing something else. It's not, I don't personally feel it's good, but I want your input in that.
But what's your key challenges? What's your question? Which area that you are moving from Scrum to Kanban? Is that a right approach, or what's your question?
No, my question, okay, this is my scenario, and my question is, being in the sprint organization, like, we run the Scrum board. Being in the Scrum board, my developers are attending a lot of meetings, and the development
means you are talking about the Scrum events, or outside that some meetings?
Apart from that.
Okay, lots of meetings. Can you give some example?
In sense, knowledge sharing happens where they are exchanging their codes, trying to understand the environment to work on. Suppose the work is to, bring in the old UI phase to a new UI phase, right? So most of them right now moving from the IE mode, they're moving to a Chrome or Edge, and the application is a legacy application, and they're not able to debug it or make it so closely. So that's one of the challenges.
So I understand what you're talking about, but what they are doing, that's also important, no? Now, the thing about there maybe sometimes you are facing challenges between balance out the how much time they will be spending on knowledge sharing, how much time they will be working for sprint commitment. Try to apply a standard of capacity allocations that, okay, we have a capacity of, for example, 100. It can be story point, it can be hours. I'm not going into that. But whatever your total capacity, how you allocate, you define 20% or 30% will be allocating for knowledge sharing. You create technical spike. You can create any other work items in your backlog that will be part of the commitment, and fill up your capacity that 30% of knowledge sharing is done. We will not be picking anymore. Because if knowledge sharing is critical for the team to work effectively or deliver effective value, you need to give some time for that. Now, try to find out what will be the best use for that. If that knowledge sharing should not be kind of a every iterations they are going for knowledge sharing. If it is required, go for that. If it is not required, try to find out, okay, first 3 iterations will be going into this knowledge sharing, or we will be always keeping 30% dedicated for knowledge sharing or resolving technical debts or working on maintenance work or working on architecture work, and 60% or 50% will be doing a sprint commitment feature works. Because every work that you do, if it add values to the team, you need to give time for that.
Understood. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
It's just that sometimes it makes me think the admin time, the way the ceremonies are all taken on admin hours, and the management wants to reduce those hours, but that's the need for, that's the ask. But I don't know how to reduce that. If there's anything which you can add an input to it, let me know.
Yeah, try to start applying this capacity allocation. But one thing you need to remember, that whatever you are bringing up change, have a brainstorming. As a Scrum Master, you should not be saying, okay, going forward tomorrow, we will be applying that. You will try to get the buy-in. Otherwise, you will not get the support from them that they will be aligning it with your thought. You will be convincing them that, okay, this is how it will be beneficial. This is how we'll be able to complete our commitment. This is how we will be able to realize our release burn down, so that we can have a visibility. Our predictability measure will be more close to the accuracy. This is how you will be bringing up, and take a mutual agreement. Okay, let's try that. We'll work on that for 2 sprint or 3 sprint. We'll capture the feedback at the end of every iteration and see if this is not working. We'll try to apply something else.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
All right, great. Okay. Aboled, I think you asked some questions on YouTube and you joined over here as well. You can ask the question once again.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I attended an interview and then I was asked the question that how do you manage stakeholder in a complex
What do you mean by
organization?
manage? Means why do you need to manage stakeholder? Because stakeholders, they are working on their own area. You are just developing based on whatever your product priorities are, or the product backlog items priorities are. Whatever you have committed, you are delivering it as a team. Why do you want to manage stakeholder?
Well, I got confused with that question anyway. And
Yeah,
I
see,
guess I could have
whenever you are going
asked-
for an interview, some questions came up. You are free to ask any doubts you have, because if you are asking me the questions, I am giving interview, I still have the not having that visibility that why as a Scrum Master I want to manage stakeholders. Or if there is some priorities of stakeholders you have, or if I'm assume that you want me to talk about stakeholders have some priorities, how I will be handle or address that, let that come through the product owner. Product owner who work more closely with the stakeholders. Whatever the stakeholders work is there, product owner is changing their priority or emerging the backlog based on that. At the end of every iterations, product owner is inviting the stakeholders where we'll giving the system demo and talking about how the working software is coming up. We'll also capture feedback, what stakeholders next expectation is, and we update our backlog accordingly. But we as a team, we don't work on, or we are not engaging with the stakeholders very closely. If it is required, you do a frequent backlog refinement, maybe every Tuesday, every Thursday, or every Wednesday, whenever you are doing it. Invite your stakeholders so that you can connect with the stakeholders if it is required.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I can see Anuradha, your hand is still raised, and I'll go to Kamal.
Hey, Ladru. Hey, thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. So I have two-part questions. One, it's more like inquiry. I know that you used to do a Path to Scrum Master classes, and I have a couple of folks who was interested in my organization. So I'd like some information about that one. Is that next upcoming class for that? Second question I have, I used to be my role was a Scrum Master. Now I moved into a little bit more into coaching. And this comes in our organization quite a bit, that teams wants to move from Scrum to Kanban and vice versa. My
Okay.
question is, I know there is not a set process or set bar that we figured, okay, when should the team to be a Kanban versus a Scrum? In my line of work, we more like determine if you're doing a repeated work, such like production support, a queue management, you are more suited to be a Kanban. And also working with the third-party applications, more suited to be Kanban. But if you're doing continuous delivery, something that you're working on new features or you're working on the existing feature, probably Scrum is the way to go. Can you shed
Okay.
some light on that?
See, when you talk about frequent delivery, Kanban is definitely, you will be able to do frequent delivery, but that does not mean Scrum cannot. In Scrum also, you can deliver every 2 days or every 3 days. You don't need to wait for the sprint closer to deliver something. But in the common practices, what we have observed, teams are waiting for the sprint closer to deliver that value. Now, if you talk about where we should select, in which situation we should select that we should go with Scrum and Kanban, the key difference of Scrum and Kanban is Scrum is a time-boxed activity where you will be waiting for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You plan for 2 weeks and deliver the value after 2 weeks, whatever you have committed. But Kanban is to address anything that need a frequent change on your commitment. So you should not be waiting for 2 weeks to deliver some value, or you cannot say that, okay, I have planned my work for 2 weeks, I will not be picking it up. For example, if you're doing a feature development, if you're doing a new functionality development Scrum, you can go for that. You can go for Kanban as well. But if you are addressing something like a production support, you cannot say that, okay, I am working on production support in sprint and I am picking the production support issues and fixing it, because you don't know what are the new high priority tickets may come up next day. You cannot predict that. If you are working on any service team where you are working on a customer services, you cannot predict that what customer request will come 2 days later or 3 days later. So any ad hoc kind of request where you can predict, go for Kanban. Where you can think the team can able to plan for something for 2 weeks or 3 weeks and they can stick to the plan, there should not be any interruptions with their commitment, go with Scrum.
I think that helps. That clears things up a bit. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Niladri, do we have any article or anything which you can share about the last bit what you mentioned? Where
you can watch one of the video that I have in my channel that's about Kanban. Have you watched that?
like, you know, this is more for me to present it to my organization on reference point of, you know, like strong document if you have any.
See, you can watch that video, create your own document for that, or there is another article also we have in our website. You can go through that.
Okay.
Can copy some content from there and you can create your, as of now, I don't have any document that I can share with you.
Got you. Thanks.
All right. Any other questions anyone have? Kamal, you are saying something. For that, you can connect with me offline as well. So we can talk on that further. All right. Any other persons, any other questions you have? I think there are 7 people watching on YouTube. If anyone from YouTube, you have also some questions, you can type in the message over here.
One more question I have.
Yeah.
That might not, this is like an anti-pattern question, but how to dodge it, probably that's the question. When you're a Scrum Master and sooner down the lane, they want, like I don't have a dedicated product owner, so creating tickets is becoming a second part of
Creating tickets means stories.
Yes. Like any
Okay.
issue comes up because it's a production environment and any issues come up, and that's where
See, if you are working on a production environment, you are Scrum or you are in Kanban.
Scrum.
So how can you handle production environment tickets in Scrum? There are too many tickets in backlog, or how you are working on that?
No, and if the environment is drop everything and fix it, then I just have to, on emergency basis, if the person who creates a ticket, if that person is off, I do create tickets. But
So you as a Scrum Master create tickets, where do you get the information from?
from the business.
From the business. So you are not the Scrum Master, then you are acting as a product owner.
Both.
Okay, that's actually create a conflict of interest. I'm not sure why. You may be Kanban, may be the better fit. If you talk about a Scrum, a good Scrum team consists of 3 roles: product owner, Scrum Master, and developer. You should have someone who will be the single point of contact for the team to talk about, understand their requirement, who can prioritize their work, who can clarify any uncertainties. As of now, what you are doing, you are working as a postman between the business and the team. You are getting some information, then giving it to the team asks some questions, then again you are going to the business, bringing that information.
Correct.
That's the biggest gap that you have. Try to find out within your organizations, can you get a dedicated product owner? If not, anyone can create stories. It's not necessary that only product owner is responsible for create the user story. Product owner responsibility is to prioritize them, or find out any dependencies they have with the market side or business sides. They will talk about what will be the criteria of acceptance. As of now, if you are doing that, you are the person who will be ensuring the compliance, that whether it is having the acceptance criteria or not, whether it is meeting the definition of ready or not. But if you are creating the user story, many times it's very much possible that you says, okay, leave it now, let it go, because this is, if I had to add the acceptance criteria, I'll have to do that. So that's an anti-pattern comes in our practices. Are you able to understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, let me talk about this. But
Sure.
what is the best advice is to just have a dedicated product owner, so that
Yes.
I'm not getting involved in that point of contact. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, great. Anyone have any other questions that he wants to ask? Okay, we'll wait for 2 minutes. If no question is coming up, then probably we can wrap it up. I'll wait for a few comments from YouTube also. If anyone have some questions, you can join, or you can ask the questions in chat as well. All right, I think there is no more questions coming up, so we will stop it over here. I am closing this webinar over here, and thank you everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.